Welcome to Balls and Brews. Cheers, boys.
Pod 82, gentlemen. Cheers. Look at the color on this bad boy.
Yeah,
huh?
look at
looks
that.
Yummy. That's nice.
What are we drinking, Charlie? I like that.
Yeah, good old shout out to our boys. We've talked about them a couple of times, and they are leaving this brewery world. Imbibe, Supply of Dust, 6.3, local brew. Went there Friday, picked up this 4-pack and 4 different little bombers that I'm very excited to dive into. None of them, I think, appeal to you, Zach, which is why we are not going to feature any of them on here.
Figure they're all probably sours.
Most 3 of them are sours. 3 of them are sours, and then one of them is
that barrel-aged bullshit. Not
heavy,
bullshit, just
dark.
It's a Belgian dark strong ale aged in whiskey, 4 different whiskey barrels.
yeah, fuck.
It's 4.5%.
Wait, 14?
Sorry, thank you very much. Yes,
I was gonna say, dude, it's not strong at 4.
14.5.
There's no whiskey barrel.
4.5 beer.
Yeah, we
Thank you, Trev, for correcting me. Yes, we looked at it earlier. 14.5.
When you open it, if I'm here, I'll have a sip, but that's not one that I want to.
Just sit down and dude, it's got to mellow you got to let it sit. Like, you don't drink that beer for all of like 40 minutes after you take it out the fridge.
Yeah, it's in a pack a punch as far as mouthfeel.
And it's just so dense when it's cold.
It's so dense. Dude.
Yeah,
it's like you're gonna be fucking motor oil.
It hits. It does for sure. So, but no, we'll Jarbridge. It's a delicious series, and it's the 2023 version. So they condition it for a year before it comes out, and it's 2 years old now. So it's technically 3-year-old beer we're gonna be drinking when we sample it later. That's great.
Not today.
Cellar beer.
Not
Yeah,
today.
because there's a lot of other things. My whole fridge is full of hazies outside of those sours that I have in my rack.
We got something special coming up.
They brought us a little something different.
Me and Trev already had, but super delish. Can't wait to do it on
ruin
pod.
it. No, you guys
Can't wait to do it on pod.
So as far as this beer, let's get into this one. This is a very balanced hazy. It has nice juice notes. It has that direct New England unfiltered hazy flavor, but not too much. Like, the color is just absolutely beautiful.
I like it because it doesn't like pop you in the mouth. Like, even though it's not like completely juicy, it doesn't really have like you're crunching on the fucking hops either afterwards. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It has that New England unpastured, like the unfiltered on the back end, but that's not too much either. Sometimes beers get that wrong and they go too hard in that direction, and it's just like, I don't like that either.
100%.
But no, this is what I want. We all love the juicier versions of hazies as well, right? But if it's not going to be a direct juicy, this is the next variant of hazy that I can champion, as it were.
Yeah, it's good. I enjoy it a lot. It's tasty. I do like it when they are a little bit more juicy, but I love how it's not like crushing your fucking hops either with some, because some we get have like they're juicy and then they're not.
I think some people misconstrue what an actual hazy IPA is sometimes. Sometimes we get them and it's like, that's not what you think it is.
It's more West Coast.
Yeah, or just a straight up IPA, and it's just like, not that these are bad beers, but they're not as advertised. I think hazy's now become a buzzword rather than just,
last week's juicy IPA that wasn't a hazy.
Wasn't very juicy.
It wasn't
either.
very juicy.
It was a West
IPA.
Coaster, yeah.
West Coast.
It wasn't. It, once again, wasn't bad. And Ninkasi makes a good beer, but they're also a West Coast brewery. They're from fucking Eugene, so obviously they make a West Coast IPA. But
it should be labeled.
It's unfortunate. Especially when established breweries kind of do that, It's like, I know what you were going for, but I don't agree with you. Who am I to tell the brewmasters, though?
Don't be sneaking to pass me, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's still good beer.
We still drink it.
Absolutely. Speaking of beers, I was down at Pigeon Head yesterday and had an amazing Wee Heavy, which is a Scottish ale, like a heavier Scottish ale. You know what I'm talking about?
Never had.
You've never had a Scotch? You never had a Scotch ale like Kilt Lifter?
Oh yeah,
we had that one.
Yeah.
Fun.
Dude, there's
Okay.
Scottish ales.
You said a heavy one.
When they're done right. Well, yeah, it's a wee heavy. Yeah, so it's a higher alcohol. It was like 8.1, an imperial, as it were. They had an imperial Hefeweizen. I've never seen this.
Ooh, how was that?
12.1.
Did you have it?
She hooked me up with just a little snifter, just enough to wet the whistle, which is perfect. And it was surprisingly drinkable for 12.1.
Well, I would think
would
so.
I want 8 ounces of it? Probably not. Like a 4 ouncer from a flight, sure.
Perfect. I would think that a Hefeweizen would be an easier imperial drink with just the way a Hefeweizen is.
Sure, and it does. What's nice is it manages to still keep that nice mouthfeel where it's still a little, like not foamy, but like frothy, or like it's got a little bit more bounce to it rather than just a lot of 12% beers are just thick and it's just like glug glug glug. It's like, oh fuck, okay, this is good, but this is a whole lot. Like it remained light, but that's important. But you gotta like that flavor, man. That German banana, heavy, unfilled, like it was hit you right in the face. If you did not like that, yeah.
Too?
Well, yeah. And if you didn't like that flavor, it wasn't going to be for you.
Did you happen to do any of the great red rye?
No, simply because I found one that they did a black IPA called Cascading Darkness, which is a great name for a beer.
It is a great name.
Yeah. How was that?
It was great. It was very, very good.
Because they do the black lager that we love so
exactly.
much.
So it's a black lager with hops, basically.
That's sick, dude.
And it comes out really nice.
I know every time I go in there, I try to try other ones. I get at least one red, and I tell myself you can't have two. Because I would sit there and drink the red the whole time.
Sure,
it's the
there's nothing.
Silver Peak's red's not around anymore.
There's nothing inherently wrong with that.
But like, it's literally probably the best. Well, it's one of the best reds that I've had. The red,
especially locally, like the one that you can just go and get. Because I don't really think like Brewer's Cabinet doesn't really have.
They don't have a red.
The Red-Headed Stranger from St. James is okay. It's not great. It's more of a saison is what they pitch it as rather than like a red.
And then Revision, no red.
Not that I know of.
Not a good one. If they do,
they only do either hops or darks.
Lead Dog, maybe, but I don't remember it.
I can't.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had one at one point.
Yeah, because Left for Red.
I don't remember.
Left for Red. No, Left for Red.
Left for Red?
Was that a red, or was that like a red IPA?
No, that's a red.
Was that
my pops drinks that all the time, or it's an amber. I'm sorry, which I would say is a variant of
it's close.
Like I would say,
it's a little different.
And then also when we tried Monday night. We had the red from Parlay 6 Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Trev already said he had it, but we had. Did you do it Monday too at the National Championship?
It's a heavier red.
It's a good though. It was good though.
Too many of those.
That is a good take on that.
I
completely agree with that. I took a swig of it and I was just like, good, not bad, but
good flavor. But it was.
I was expecting a little bit more body, a little bit more lightness to it.
Oh, it's a dark red though.
It's dark,
right? It's like maroonish for sure.
So. It was good though.
I haven't had a bad beer from Parlay 6. I haven't had a bad beer from Parlay 6 yet. So we'll definitely have to go down and peep. The brewery is literally right off the hip of where I live, right over here. Yeah. So.
Trev, any brews?
No, not really.
I do want to talk, since our fandom is going to be comedy. I do want to shout out. We went last night and did the disco tubing up at the Palisades.
Tahoe.
Yeah,
right?
Up at the Palisades. Yeah, you basically going towards Tahoe City. Palisades used to be Squaw, right?
That's it. Yep.
They got the big Olympics. That's where the Olympic was at years ago. They got the rings outside or whatever as you turn in. Dude, sick as fuck. It's like a little bit pricey, but dude, it's so worth it. Like they got the lights up on the mountain, the lights are shooting, and they have like runs made, and they like you get on your tube and they push you down. And since it was snowing, the fresh snow kind of messed up the tracks. We didn't get as long run, but it was still so fun. We took the boys, Grayson and Lincoln. Dude, they were they were loving it. Dude, my boy has my beanie on. This one I bought that's like full down, so it kind of falls over his eyes.
Can you see?
So we're pulling it up. He's got like snow is just crusted the front because it's snowing as we're going.
Sure.
So sometimes you're going and it's like blowing
hitting
in your
right
face.
In the face for sure.
I was laying back like full, like trying to get my aerodynamics on, and then just eating fucking snow. One time we
goggles,
spun,
brother, goggles.
I know we should have, and then then Link Dog brought his like gator. Oh, dude, I think I threw all of mine away, dude. It was clutch, dude. My beard was soaked. But then me and Grayson were in it together, and dude, they fucking went. And at one point, I was like, dude,
should I held them out in front of you? You're like, you're taking one for the team.
No, but you're both in our own tubes, and you just hold on.
Oh, nice. That's
and
awesome.
So we're spinning. At one point, I was like, dude, I wonder if they get mad if I slingshot him, because I could feel me turning his way, and then just me throwing him, dude. Sure. I thought about it, dude.
You did it?
Oh. I didn't do it. I didn't want to get in trouble.
Well, because also you'd have to tell him, bro. Could you imagine this?
He slingshot him.
Terrified, dude. If you just straight used that momentum and hucked him the opposite direction.
One time I'm going down the first time because I didn't know how far I was going to go.
Okay.
And all of a sudden I see him as I have his tube, and the guy goes, okay, we're going. And he spins me, and I was like, as I'm turning, I'm like, dude, Grayson's standing there. And I turn, I'm like, dude, he's standing there. I said, get the fuck out of the way, dude. I'm going to take you out.
He wanted to ride.
Dude, it was so fun,
Spatial awareness.
So fun. It was like, it's an hour of just as many times as you can go up and down the hill and just go tubing. They do it in 2s and 4s. Me, Josh, Link, and Grayson did a 4. That was okay. It was just hard to get set up. But
like 4 at one go,
all holding the tubes.
Gotcha.
Legs or arms. Or,
it seems like a lot. That does seem like a lot.
But it was fun time. So shout out, because our fandom's going to be comedy for a little look into later. But let's jump into national title game.
Kind of teased it just earlier. Yeah, up at Chewy's, dude.
Dude, it was a great time. College football season this year was awesome. The playoffs, first round, so-so.
Lord. As much as I want to dig into the NCAA, the product was fantastic. Outside of a couple of things in the playoffs.
Second round was great. Third round was great. National title game was good. Charlie, why don't you touch on the first?
Third round was excellent. Oh, my fucking
epic.
Lord, dude. Yeah, the ending of those games was just like, mwah.
Well, I guess first round not great. Second round was good, really great.
Getting better.
Third round was
You saw
epic.
the shape of what they wanted to do, and then the third round, the championships, as it were, the semis were great. Epic. Yes.
Charlie, why don't you give us a little
first half went way more Notre Dame's style of ball. They came out and had that 10-minute long drive and scored, and it's like, okay, this is what they have to do, and then generate some turnovers, which they got none of.
Except for later in the game.
Well, one. That's right. Actually, they did get that punch out. That's right. However, in the first half, that was all they really did. After the 7 points, Ohio State said, okay, that's what you get, and then we're going to go ahead and turn on our juice. Their offense just clicked out of the gates.
Well, the one thing they couldn't stop, which we were worried about, was the run.
Yeah, 1,000%. When you let Ohio State set that up. And
both backs had fucking just...
Judkins had 3 tuds. Yep. 1 catching, 2 receiving. And then
on the ground.
Yeah, and then Henderson was he didn't have tuds, but he was effective. I think he had 1, didn't he? I think he had 1. I want to say Henderson had 1.
Trev's looking it up right now.
But either way, they were all over the field. And when you let a team that is predicated on setting their offense up like that, you're in for a tough day. I don't care how good your defense is. No tuds?
No, he's only 12 for 49.
Still not a bad day.
Yeah, and there's nothing for him in
not electric, but
effective.
I mean, he was clearly the 2 back that game.
Well, because the last 2 games, he fucking had that screen.
He was the 1 back, right? Yeah. So it's not to say that he's not. It's
he still
just
averaged 4.1 yards a carry.
That's what I'm saying. I love that. Well, I mean, for any team that's just like, hey, bro, both of these guys can get work done. And if Judkins is the ones that's popping, you leave the hot hand. You ride the hot hand, right? Like, Henderson's going to know that. He wants the title just as bad as any of those other guys. And if Homeboy's going to score 3 touchdowns, put that guy out on the field. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean?
And both of those guys are declared for the draft.
Yeah, both of those guys will sniff probably back end first, early second kind of thing. You think?
They're going to be
draft experts.
Second,
they're going to be all. They'll be in the second round.
All second,
because there's only going to be 1 back that goes in the first round. Omar and Hampton maybe. Omarion Hampton maybe. After that, those 4.
But Genty's the only one you're calling for sure.
And then those other 4, dude, Genty could start from the Raiders down. You could see him go from as high as 6 to Dallas.
I really hope that the NFL has reassessed how important running backs are. The best teams in the league have been running back centric this year.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
Then last year it wasn't. This year it was. It's getting back to it. I think it's because your offensive lines can't pass block. You got to establish the run before you can pass block. And your defensive ends are more athletic.
There it is, bro. They are so nasty.
Look who's coming out this year between Abdullah Carter, Jalen Walker, Mikael Williams, and Pierce. Look how athletic all those three dudes are.
Well, that's what they train him for now. There's no longer an emphasis on just pure size. It's definitely about speed, agility, the way you can bend the corner. You don't have to be big to be a DN anymore. You just have to be fucking fast and
you
furious.
can just be powerful. You get those initial
powerful is different than strong.
Initial
for sure.
knockbacks. Look at some how powerful Matt can be with his hands. Look how powerful some of these smaller DNs can be just by because an offensive lineman's backpedaling, quickness, and just strike. Get him off balance. You're behind him.
That's definitely something that needs to be adjusted, though. Like Saquon is making he's not even making the top 50 receiver money. It's so.
I think it's because you can also they are kind of replaceable in a sense that look at what a team like you did with Guerrero. And Mason, two backs that had great years. Mason stays healthy.
Mason came in and blew the doors off the expectations.
That's where you have that separation. From the rookies, sure, you bring in guys that you're going to run multiple, but if you have a player like Saquon, the money is just not even close to where it should be.
Well, I think it's because you can bring not necessarily the nobody in, but if you can hit the draft right, look at the Rams with Williams, he's at a Notre Dame, right?
Tyron?
Yeah.
He runs hard. He runs hard, but he came out
stature. He's 4 years, and then he'll probably be out. It's because you can find dudes like that that just fit.
That's what's valued the position.
Correct. Especially when you have dudes like the McVays, the Shanahans, and these other coaches that are so good, just scheming up walk runs.
But it's definitely, bro. You look at a guy like Saquon, and you're 32 teams out of 32 teams are gonna know. Well, except for the Giants, 31 out of 32 teams are gonna know what to do with this guy.
Well, Derrick Henry asks you know, how much do they have in the tank too?
A couple of those guys.
That's the other thing too. It's how much do they have in the tank? Running back should only sign 2 to 3 year contracts.
I think Saquon also has more to offer. Derrick Henry is just a running back.
Correct.
He can catch.
Correct.
He does a little bit, but no, he's not considered a dual threat.
Not as elite as a Saquon, a Christian McCaffrey. Even a Jacobs is Jacobs pretty good catching the ball in the backfield for the Packers.
I didn't know that he had never had a passing catching touchdown until this year.
I didn't either because he caught a lot of balls for us.
But he never got into the end zone on a catch. Yeah, that's what I thought so too. All of his touchdowns were only rushing.
Expects you to check down Charlie Carr.
Yeah. Don't put some respect on my name. Don't be Charlie and the Carr family.
Dude, I like him. I
got no shit on the Carr family, honestly.
I wish he'd still be my quarterback. Better than
there was a clear decline in quarterback play after he left. Period.
Oh, no shit.
I'm just saying, I do agree with you. I know it's hard for us to come to conclusions where we agree. But
let's bring it back, though. I'm going to reel us in.
We're going to talk about the second half, brother.
Finish talking about...
Oh, that's right. We were talking about college football.
Yeah, just the national championship,
Here we go.
But, I mean, really, it started in the second quarter with Ohio State putting up 21. And then they just put 10 up in the third right after that before Notre Dame even scored.
Dude, they just
they took hold of the game.
Notre Dame did such a good first half or the first drive, and then they could not put together another drive. It was a penalty. It was a bad throw by Riley Leonard. Yeah. It was not blocking.
Adjustments by Ohio State. Not missing tackles. Ohio State did not miss a lot of tackles, which
dude, you got a lot of dudes that are playing in the NFL.
In the college game. That is a huge swing. In the NFL, there are some broken tackles. In college, you're getting that's when you've lost the fight.
That's why some of those
every play has one broken tackle.
Some of those stats, in college with the running back, he's got so many yards after broken tackle. Well, I mean, yeah, but he was also being tackled by the dentist of the store down the street or whatever. He wasn't being tackled by an NFL talent.
But no, let's put some respect on that dentist's name, man. It's hard if you're playing D1.
I'm just saying,
you're a fucking baller.
In the NFL, when you're like, oh, that's so many yards after break, you're like, that's impressive. College football, you're like,
forget how it's the 1% of the 1%.
There's not that many of those players probably in this game.
No.
But just to get back to it, that kind of they kind of controlled the game at that point.
They did.
Notre Dame made it a last-ditch effort getting 2
scores.
Scores. They got 8 points in the third after Ohio State got theirs, and then they got another 8 in the fourth. And
one was after that fumble.
They closed it. The punch out was great. There were a couple woos. We had a good couple of woos towards the middle of the middle of the fourth quarter was great.
Notre Dame's
comeback was on, and then they couldn't convert.
Played really well, no matter what the score was.
If they were healthy,
dude. That's what I'm saying, dude. They owned. That's why Judkins had such a good game. Dude, they own the middle of the fucking line because both their defensive tackles are out. So Ohio State just pushing.
Well, I mean, yeah.
No, I know. I'm just saying. And I thought Notre Dame's defense played outstanding.
So,
they just
so good game overall.
Good game.
Not great.
Good game.
Right?
Well, it brought us back. Dude, they were going down to score to tie it up with another 8, and they couldn't.
What I was going to touch on is
it was like 7 minutes left. Yeah.
Make that field goal attempt when they're down 16.
Ooh, great point.
They go for a fourth down.
It was only 4th and 1 too. It wasn't 4th and a mile. You're right there.
But they weren't really. I mean, it was going to be another Riley. What was Riley's stats?
Okay, but
poor guy kind of took a pounding.
Well, yeah,
he missed some throws.
Well, of course, because he was rattled and he was getting hit all the time. That's the the sidebar to running your quarterback so many times. He's constantly getting hit.
He took a shot. He took some shots, man.
I mean, through the air, he was 22 for 31 for 255 and 2 touchdowns.
That's pretty
no
solid.
Picks.
That's great. That's a better line than you got out of him all the rest of the other playoff games.
And then on the ground, 17 carries for only 40 yards, 2.4
17 carries.
He's getting smacked.
17 carries.
Chest, arms, back, legs, head,
and those are a lot of
shoulders.
He did pull a touchdown out of that too.
Right on the first drive. Yeah, he scored the first drive. Those are dominant, which is why I know that you said yourself, game plan for Notre Dame has to be have Riley Leonard be effective with his legs.
Has to be.
2.4
yards isn't effective.
It started off more in the 5 or 6 yard rip, right? Which is why we were like, okay. But then adjustments and Ohio State just saying like, fuck that.
Well, because they could bring another dude in the box. They didn't have to worry about any. That's one thing. Notre Dame had nothing outside scared you.
So I want to know, all right, we've dissected this game. I want to know overall grade of the first 12-team playoff.
I give it a solid A. It's not an A+.
A solid A.
It's an A. It was good. I think the adjustment you make is the seeding, but the seeding doesn't necessarily make the adjustment to the games are better in the first. You still have 12 playing 5. 5 would have been maybe Tennessee. Tennessee still would have went into Boise State would have had to go into Tennessee, or Arizona State would have had to go into Tennessee. That probably would have been a different way. I think the adjustment of the number fixes my irritation, but it's not necessarily going to make the games better in the first round. We might have just shitty first round games.
In theory, it should make them a little bit better. The matchups would be a lot more, indicative of the talent of the teams.
Right. Boise State going into Tennessee, maybe not as. Boise State was in the game with Penn State until that midway through the third quarter. So that what I'm saying. The first round games, I guess. I mean, SMU kind of came back, but Indiana got rolled. We should have seen Indiana getting rolled.
We
in the first
knew that
place.
the only time Indiana played competition.
I think your at large picking's got to get better, and just fix the seeding 1 through 12, and then you give the 4 conference champions and the 1 other champion in, but they don't get buys. So Boise State's 12 or Arizona State's 12, and everybody else is ranked 1 through 4 is 1 through 4. Agreed. 5 through 10 is 5 through 10.
I think those slight improvements can make it better. Of course, I wish it was only 8. It looks like we're closer to 16, but for 12, I thought it was really good. We got some representation across the board. We got some good games, some not, but I mean that's not really any different from the 4.
I think we get more. Yeah, correct. I thought we got more good than bad. I thought the first week we had some stinkers, but every other game after that seemed to be really good.
Well, the Ohio State-Oregon game technically wasn't good.
Correct. And
that was supposed to be the marquee.
I guess you're right.
That was supposed to be the marquee. That was supposed to be the crown jewel of it, and it didn't. Hey, shout out to Ohio State for going and just putting boot in ass, right? That's you can't.
But I mean, Penn State.
Notre Dame was good.
Boise State was good that Friday night, and then you had the one stinger, but still, Arizona State was epic, and then the Notre Dame Georgia game was epic too.
I'm saying B plus, somewhere around there, high B-ish. Yeah. I can't give it an A. I don't like I didn't like that Arizona State and Boise State
I'm more
got
A
the
minus.
buys.
A minus. Well, that's why I'm not. I think the season overall.
Right. No, and I get that. I think that contributed to just like you hit the nail on the head. The reseeding has to happen next year. They have to reassess. I get the conference champions getting an automatic bid, but it should not mean
automatic
top
bid,
four.
not
Right.
top 4.
Correct. Agreed. That should be the best 4 teams. Sometimes the best team doesn't inherently win the conference championship. It's crazy to say that, but we've definitely seen it.
Yeah.
We know Ohio State just did it this year. They won the Natty and didn't win the Big Ten. So, I mean, I talked to Oregon how they care about that Big Ten championship right now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it doesn't hold weight, but it's still like there's levels to it.
Good season.
Yeah. Ohio State ended up being a great season, right? So they turned it on when they fucking needed to. But they weren't the 7th or the 8th best team in the fucking nation.
They
the fact that they were 8th.
That's just
at
so
that,
wrong.
at least at that point they should have been 4
Yeah.
because it should have been Oregon, Georgia,
Texas, right?
and then
them,
and then it would have been Penn State, Tennessee, in my opinion, or Tennessee, Penn State, whichever.
If we were still doing a 4-team playoff, they would have been the 4th team.
Correct. They would have been heavily considered.
Well, no, Ohio State wouldn't have made it because
they would have been 5. They would have been heavily considered. They would have been one of the ones that a bubble team.
Correct. They would have made it
team.
because it would have been Tennessee. They would have put Notre Dame as a 4. With one loss, Notre Dame would have been the 4. Over it would have been, if we were a 14 playoff, it would have been Oregon 1, Georgia 2,
Texas
3, we would have got the 1,
Notre
and then Notre Dame would have been the 4,
beat them out
because
probably.
Notre Dame is a one-loss
Right.
Notre Dame, and you're looking at that point, 1 loss, and it's Notre
versus
Dame.
a 2-loss
Wouldn't
non-Big
have
Ten
the
champ,
current
right?
national champ.
You couldn't take the Big Ten.
And they just got smoked by fucking Michigan.
walloped.
Smoked at that point. So you'd been.
No, their offense just it wasn't smoked.
No.
It was what 17-10.
But with the spread and everything with the spread.
Well, and the number 1 seed on the line potentially, like they flubbed a lot right there. They obviously it didn't impact them to the extent where they still got the Natty, dude. That is the ultimate goal, regardless of the path there. Would you have liked to won the Big Ten? Sure. Would you have liked to maybe had a bye? Maybe sure. But who the fuck cares, dude? We're hanging banners, dude. However the hell we got here, you know.
Spent that money,
dude. When it's paying dividends, it's hard to argue. It's why I think we're going to see less movement from college coaches going to the NFL as this money rolls. That's what I'm saying. You're just big man on campus. You just hang out, win games, get kids to come to you. The machine's turning.
Marcus
and you're just
Freeman
making
has
money.
now put himself into
the machine's going to turn for
an
him.
elite coach in the college football. He's going to put himself. He's
going to walk in the living room and say, "You want to come play for Notre Dame?" Most people are going to say yes.
He doesn't have to. They come to him. He says,
"Well, that's okay." Exactly,
dude. You literally, Marcus Freeman has now put himself back. Him and Notre Dame back into the blue bloods of college football, where you're not going to have a hard time getting stuff. You're going to see Notre Dame's talent level start to grow.
If you get those coaches and you pay those coaches well and they continue to have success amongst years, you're not going to see them be like, "Oh, I need to go test my stripes in the NFL." Some, sure.
How many of these kids watch Sports Center and all this shit, and you have all these dudes hyping that coach up? You're like, "Fuck, well, I want to go play with him." Fucking these guys all say that Mark Freeman's a fucking stud.
Word of mouth is the best. Like, that's the best advertisement you can get, dude.
Any more? I mean, I think we got to get a cheers. Let's get a cheers for college football.
Overall, I'm game for that.
And then we got the draft coming up, which is what we love too. Let's jump into another positive note. Absolutely positive. Big time positive.
Big time.
MLB Hall of Fame voting came in. Ichiro, CC, and Billy Wagner all fucking get voted in. I am completely fucking irritated that you have some fucking pussy does not put fucking Ichiro's name down on his ballot, and he's 1 vote shy. Derek Jeter, 1 vote shy. Ichiro, 1 vote shy. There is nothing that you can tell me other than the fact that you
the same guy.
other than the fact that you can use that vote, because you'll get say you get 5, right? You get 5 votes a place. You knew Ichiro's getting in, so you put it on somebody else. That's fucking still stupid, because you should be given. It shouldn't be like, I know he's getting in, I'm just gonna give my vote to fucking Dustin Pedroia.
You see a guaranteed Hall of Famer, the Hall of Famer.
It's ridiculous.
It needs to be non-objective.
Ichiro won a Rookie of the Year and an MVP in the same motherfucking season.
Yeah.
You know, it's sad that when you look at his stats, the only playoff stats he has are with the Yankees. He never made it with.
No, you guys made it once. You guys made it that year. You
Oh,
guys
was that? Oh, God, he was around at that time.
He was Rookie of the Year.
That was 04.
He was like, it was him.
01. No, that was 01.
Yeah.
That was 01.
He was Rookie of the Year and MVP
We won.
that year.
We won 116 games.
Yeah. Fuck that.
And then got, once again, bounced by the fucking Yankees real quick. It wasn't even a series. It was real bad.
Real bad.
I got traumatic memories of being a fucking Mariners fan, brother. We are the only franchise never to sniff their World Series. But shout out to you, Icihro, because you not only...
dude.
And he transcended the game. Especially, he was the real first like Asian guy to come over.
The big one.
And like he carried that banner, and Japan loved him for it. And he's still huge out there. And that's one of the reasons why Baseball Classic is out there is because of him. Like,
yeah, isn't he Japan's first
Hall of Famer?
Hall of Famer?
I think so.
I can't verify that for 1,000%, but it does make sense.
Pretty sure that's what I heard.
He was insane, and it's just he played that short game. He just knew what he was good at, dude. Little knockers, and quick.
But then he stole bases, but he also had a fucking cannon. He was an elite right fielder.
He could field like a beast.
He's got multiple gloves, I'm sure.
No, he never got the true respect he deserved, and for the one person who be leaving him off the ballot out of spite, yeah, right. I think when it's like that, it's like, shouldn't you isolate that person, whoever it is, and be like, really? Did you feel good about this?
Reevaluate your vote.
It has to be leaked. It's not a public vote. It has to be leaked. So
well, I understand that.
Until it gets leaked.
What do you mean? Like it is leaked. We know. Or are you talking about the person who did it?
The person who did it.
No, I don't want to know the person. I want whoever runs the Hall of Fame to go to that person and be like, get the fuck out of here. Like,
well, they didn't do it with Jeter.
I'm not saying, but I'm not. Jeter.
Mariano Rivera, I think, is the only unanimous or Hall of Famer.
Is he really the only one?
I think so.
Well, yeah, fucking Mo was just a
but how is not Jeter or Icihro either? I mean, I don't think. And I'm the Jeter
I don't think Jeter got more. Honestly, he was an okay shortstop.
Correct.
It's just the team he was playing,
but he was also an elite fucking playoff.
Yeah, he had. Yes. When you have some of the most memorable plays in playoff history, you're gonna get put.
He's like the.
That flip where he's running past home plate.
I don't even talk about that shit. Fuck you.
It's one of the most iconic. It's one of the most iconic.
Why we bring that?
Because it's just what comes to mind for Derek Jeter. It's literally the first.
At that point in time, like range wise and shortstop fielding wise, A-Rod's better than Omar Vizquel's better than Miguel Tejada. Miguel Tejada's better than him. Nomar, maybe, and then so Jeter's maybe the fifth best out of that elite shortstop class.
That was within his era, yeah.
Correct.
Exactly.
That's just the American League. That wasn't even the National League. Yeah. That's not even the National League. So, but Jeter was elite playoff. He still should have been 100% a voter. Next, obviously, CC. Dude, CC's so sick.
Wheeler and Dealer, dude. That guy was great to watch on the moon.
One of the first dudes, he was a dude that he was on DP show, talked about his hat.
You know, he was always a little.
He was one of the first dudes to do that.
He always had it just a little off the side, which is crazy that the Yankees let him get away with it.
Well, he talked about being in the clubhouse as like a 19-year-old and people not really digging it, 20-year-old people not digging it, but it was him. It was who he wanted to be, and he was trying to do that. And then when they let him go baggy, he was the first dude to go baggy. Like, he's the first baggy pantser.
He was a husky boy, so
but they always made him wear
going on.
They always made him wear the tight stuff. And he said his sleeves would always come down, and he was one
of those. He would always have like his top 2 or 3 buttons open, and you could always see his wife beater and his chains and shit.
CC was sick, dude.
You gotta be comfortable, perform your best.
And I loved, dude. He was always legit. He was
movement on that guy's ball was fucking nasty, dude. That guy, I'm glad that he got in. He is for sure a Hall of Famer.
Billy Wagner just finally sneaks in. I like Billy. I couldn't believe he wasn't in. He's a great closer. He sneaks in, or he doesn't sneak in. He got 82. You got to get 75%. So Billy gets in.
There you go. Yeah, shout out.
Carlos Beltran was next closest at 70%, followed by Andrew Jones at 66. I didn't think Carlos Beltran. That was weird. I would have thought that
he's kind of AJ would have been compiler dudes. Yeah. Like, I don't really know if he has like that standout.
Well, with the Mets he had some really great years with the Mets. Like,
but they never did they do?
They lost.
Did you put that on the Mets?
Sure. Oh, there's organizations that just bury people. It's like the Bears.
Andrew Jones is 66. Andrew Jones is more of that Terrell Davis though career where he was elite.
His star burned super bright for like 2.5 years, and then he went fucking nowhere.
Nah, he's like 5 years.
No, you think it was that long? I can't even. Maybe
he was elite in center field.
He could fucking smoke that ball, dude. You did not pitch down the center of the plate against that guy. He was easily
like the next. He was one of the best center fielders of all time coming, but then he got hurt. Injuries like really took over.
Same with Griff, dude.
For your steroid users, A-Rod was at 37.1, Manny was at 34.3, Pettit was at 27.9. And that's it on the steroid users. Guys, I got something to tell you though.
And a moaner.
Our guy, or my guy,
put Barry in the hall.
Omar Vizquel.
You ever seen the stats that motherfucker put up? Oh my lord,
he cheated, just like McGuire.
No, he didn't.
Just like Sosa.
He never peed dirty, never not once. No, his head got real big, and his muscles did too. But he never got sanctioned by the MLB. It was that era. They had ties to it. You look at little Barry on the Pirates, and you look at Big Barry on the Giants. I get it.
Dude, your head size doesn't grow. After the age
Talk to Peyton Manning because his fucking forehead extended.
Well, that's just 6 inches hair. Omar Vizquel's not going to make it, boys.
Nah, you don't. Well, I mean, he's still. Meaning is, well, you don't drop. How many years of eligibility do you get? 10.
And then you got to go to like the senior class,
right? Which you're not eligible again for a little while.
The senior class,
that, right?
The senior class just did vote in Dave Parker. Remember A's Dave Parker, big right fielder.
I can't.
And Dick Allen. Dick Allen's an older player. Dave Parker's like those late '80s, early 90s. Dave Parker.
Well, either way, I like the 3 selections that did get in. I mean, obviously, I'm an Icihro guy, and that's awesome to see him get that respect, first ballot for sure, and schmuck on the dude who didn't go unanimous, but that's his choice, I guess, or her choice, I don't know. But either way, whatever. Like,
it's probably a turd.
It's just because they don't want the headline to come out unanimous.
No, they're just fucking turds.
It's turds.
Some writers,
it's turd behavior.
Maybe they're racist.
I mean, we're not going to go down.
I was going to just pitch it out because that's how I feel about that person.
I don't even want to pin that on that person. I'm just going to say that's turd-like behavior.
Come on, what the fuck?
Charlie, I know you wanted to talk a little college.
Yeah, we're going to do a little b-ball. I got my Sonics hat on. I should be wearing a Mariners hat, and
should have.
I can go get one for the second segment. It's not too far. But if in relation to, I want to give a little shout to NCAA men's basketball. They've really gone back to the roots of the game kind of thing. They're rejecting the NBA style of play, as it were, and they're still team centric, and the games are close. There's more
one team that's really doing that, and there's everybody else.
I don't know, man. All the games I've been watching, like even teams like Duke, like Cooper Flagg's gonna come out and fucking light some shit up.
He's legit.
Coming year. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, the number one prospect coming out this year. It's not even close. And champion to America for fucking taking that back. France ran our goddamn draft last year, and I was like, who is this person?
Well, I don't know any of these fucking guys anymore. It's not just France's fault. It's the fact that we don't fucking do good basketball.
Well, but that's what I think. What I'm saying is the shout out I want to give is that I've kind of seen the narrative in college basketball go back to that kind of game, and I think that hopefully everybody realizes that they're not all Steph Curry.
There's no one that's
and LaMelo Ball shoot with both legs, man. This fucking little 1 foot jump scoop thing that he does from the 3-point arc. You ever seen this shit? Makes my heart hurt. Okay, we're not bringing hate. We're bringing love. Auburn won yesterday. They're number one. They just beat Tennessee, which is funny because Bruce Pearl used to be the head coach of Tennessee, and now he's at Auburn.
Got some shit
only
going
one
in
loss
Auburn.
in the season.
Yeah, they're ready. They're dropping.
Rolling,
they're dropping mushroom stamps where they go for sure. And the SEC in general, Alabama is good. Tennessee is good. Florida's got 3 7-footers. I got a coworker of mine that's absolutely geeked about Florida right now.
I mean, Kentucky, you watch them play, that offense is fire.
I can't believe Cal got ran out of Kentucky to go to Arkansas.
Yeah. Because Musselman went to
SC. Yeah.
USC.
SC. What do I call it?
Because SC, some people might be like
South Carolina. Yeah, but we West Coast boys, baby. You know what I'm referencing if I say SC.
I'm letting the fans know, Charlie.
Oh, let them know. Let them know. If we got fans of South Carolina, that's good too. The Gamecocks. What a strange name for a team.
You're a rooster, a male rooster. Well, I guess they're all male, so.
So yeah,
go Cox.
I mean,
that's for sure.
I that was a good sidebar. So men's college basketball, it's nice. UConn has not been the dominant force that they were last year, so there's a lot more parity, right? Illinois is still looking good. Like, there's a lot of good teams.
Illinois always looks good at b-ball.
Yeah, they're a basketball school. It's so it's good to see that parity in different directions. Especially the only blue bloods that really aren't making a whole lot of noise, like UNC hasn't really been on the map this year, and then Gonzaga is not necessarily touted as highly as they have been over the last about decade, as
That's
it were.
a bum.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm always a Gonzaga fan.
Mark Few's been doing it up there for basically our whole lives, dude. Yeah, for sure. So, I just keep up, keeping holding the integrity that I feel like college football is losing. I feel college basketball is championing the right parts of the game right now.
I don't know. I kind of disagree.
We'll see what happens with the one and dones, as that continues to go on.
I like how college football players stay, and I hate how college basketball players leave.
Well, as far as eligibility to the draft, if you will, you have to go 3 years in football.
I always say do the same to basketball. Fucking some of these guys. It just sucks. You don't ever know anybody on the team.
I don't know. Some teams get deep, though. Like, some of them do.
Like Jimmy Hopper over here. Who's Jimmy Hopper? I don't fucking
Jimmy Hopper. Fuck, you don't know fucking Jimmy Hopper? You fucking this guy. I fucking know Jimmy Hopper.
But with basketball, that just makes it's just even bigger projections on where these kids could be in having a couple more years. I know, hey, make your money if you can make your money. That's what the league allows, so that's what they're going to do. But it would be better for the college game for sure if they.
It might be better for the pro game too.
Yeah, I mean they'd come in more ready for sure and make an impact quicker in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
So there's that argument there, but
I'm arguing that argument.
All right.
But we also,
I stand on that side of the line.
So this will be the last week. Next week we're gonna premiere a new segment. We're finally gonna get to our shit list. Yeah, because we're gonna have that gap, waiting. We'll probably talk Super Bowl preview, but there'll be a big gap in, no college football.
We'll have to start looking at draft stuff. Oh, Shrine Bowl does start. Shrine Bowl starts Monday. Practices are even more.
Shrine Bowl, is that what they call the Senior Bowl?
The Senior Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah. The
North, South, East, West Bowl.
Yeah, whatever the one is. But
all the directions.
But your practices are happening, and those are even just as important as a game to watch how everybody's practice, because they practice at full speed. How you practice against these guys and what you're showing. So this is a big week too for moving up in your draft stock. So I like this week. I read every article about the Senior Bowl.
Yeah,
every
Senior
article
Bowl is big for my team. My team scouts those guys heavily.
Yeah.
We're gonna peel back to the NBA. We were close. We got back into the football. We love the football.
Sorry.
We love the footballs. No, I love sidebars too. I sidebar just as hard as anybody on this pod. Jimmy Butler.
I can't. I don't.
Shit lister. This is why I'm bringing this up, is because there will be definitive. We're drawing a line in the sand, and he is one of them, right?
Well, let's vote. Well, that's a vote next week. I'm glad you brought that name up. I'm glad you brought that name up. But in general, dude, that whole situation is bullshit. Missing your fucking plane. You're not even professional at this point. Why would another team want a dude that acts like a child?
I've never understood that whole play, right? Like, even if you're talented as fuck, if you ostracize yourself, if you just show this, because it makes me say, okay, when it's great, but as soon as you're off kilter, are you going to hold out on me? Are you going to be a fucking turd sandwich to our franchise? Like, why do I want that?
Trev, go next, and I'll follow you.
I was just going to say, it's not specific to basketball.
No, that's athletics in general. Agreed.
We got these spoiled athletes that are just so consumed with themselves, and a lot of them are good because you have to have that motivation, that self-belief, but it comes off as just such a spoiled child kind of routine to pull these kind of things. You see it a lot with wide receivers in football too. I have some experience in that area, but
it's also
that's true. And then Ike wasn't even considered a diva until this last offseason. Anyway,
it's just
he stretched that fucker
the way
out.
you handle your business, act like
says
a man,
a lot
please.
About you, I would say. To me,
This is the professional league.
You know the biggest difference too between the NBA and the NFL though is the guaranteed of the contracts. Okay, under NBA law, you are due every paycheck that you have signed up for that contract. In the NFL, it's understandable why guys in their later years renegotiate. They have no guarantees left. Yeah. I get why they have to use their leverage. In the NBA, you're making $50+ million to bitch about. I don't like the culture of the team. Like,
well, look, Jimmy Butler's not even an all-star, and lately he's been hurt.
Currently,
he's only made 2 all-star teams since he's been on Miami.
Sure.
Like he's good.
It's Jimmy. It's Jimmy playoff Jimmy. It's playoff Jimmy.
But he's still not a dude. He still has no. He's not like he's elite. Like he's getting older now. He has no room to really like throw his. He has no room to really throw his weight around for this bigger contract.
Which is probably why the Heat don't trade him, eat the money, and then go into the offseason with the cap that they need.
That's gonna be fun to have on the team.
It's gonna be a little tricky in the sense of like you have to capture value later, right? Rather than trying to capture value now.
Dude, like, why would you want him? It's not like he's elite scorer. He's okay defensively now.
The way that they've structured these curtains or like whatever, I forget what they call it. A curtain is what they call it, right? It's levels. It's tiered, right? So you have to spend so much before you go to this one or whatever. So like,
but you can't spend over this. That's why you can only have 2. Like,
but it makes sense for them to just ride this fucking season out, right, and then just drop that off because he's a free agent. I think they just should
trade him to the 76ers for Maxey.
They're gonna fucking do
I don't
that.
think the Sixers are
Let's
gonna
talk
make that
in
trade.
reality, dude. Yeah, get out of here.
Get Maxey
the
off
Sixers
the 76ers.
I mean, they're dumb. They're not that dumb.
Get the 76er Maxey
They
off
already tried the Jimmy experiment in Philly as well.
Well, him and Embiid didn't like each other because
why the fuck are we bringing him back?
Because I would like to see it implode.
But talking about Jimmy, this is the player
that
that he's
towards the city of brotherly love, don't you? You don't want to see the Eagles win. You don't want to see the Sixers win. Hey.
I don't like Embiid. I don't like Jimmy.
I don't like you. I don't like your friends. I don't
want to see that city implode. Sports wise,
jokes and jokes.
I just say that Jimmy has been this player, and he doesn't have that leverage anymore. But he's still that same guy. As far as how he's acting, as far as, hey, play a couple years on this team, new team.
He's an irritating fuck.
Well, the NBA All-Star break is coming up.
NBA is an irritating fuck in general.
It's in about 2.5 weeks. Actually, it's 3 weeks from today, fully. So that's the deadline as well. A lot of speculation to if he will go or if he won't. Most are saying not. I don't think he should. I don't think Pat Riley breaks. Based off of his track record of disgruntled players, he doesn't negotiate with terrorists.
Yeah,
he'll let Spoelstra deal with it, and they'll get the wins on the court as they come, and go from there, and then just deal with it next year. Pat Riley's been around the NBA way too long to lick Jimmy Butler's butt. And that's how I feel about that.
But man, I mean, there's really no team that's going to give you any. I was worried that teams would overpay for Jimmy because.
Hey, let's go Cleveland. All right, you're my only chance to maybe actually do something against Oklahoma City
versus Cleveland would be the most amazing finals in the world.
Which is hilarious because it would be absolutely dreadful. Like the
ratings would be
awful.
Would be
horrendous. The NBA would hate it.
Love it.
It'd be like a 23% approval rating.
Oh,
they deserve it.
I already know my Lakers aren't making it there, so OKC and Cleveland would be amazing. God,
sounds like such a trash meetup, doesn't it?
Oh, I love it, dude. It'd be so amazing. I'd be so jacked for that meeting.
Oh my.
D, Mitch, SJ, dude, I'd be fucking jumping around both ways.
All right, well, boys, it looks like we're empty on
thirsty, guys.
The alcohol. So we're
come back with some NFL talk. We got coaches.
Oh, yeah.
And we got playoffs.
The carousel.
Dude, I got lots of thoughts.
Crazy.
Yeah,
we're
pretty much wrapped up.
Other
than the Saints.
They're waiting for, I think, Joe Brady.
I agree.
Okay, hold it, boys. Segment
he coached with
2
Sean Payton there.
Coming up.
He was a passing coordinator before he left to go to LSU.
That's why that
okay.
We'll get into it.
We're gonna get deep.
Welcome back, boys. Cheers.
Cheers.
This is going to be a delicious fucking brewski right here, I'll tell you what.
It smells yummy.
Oh, it does. I love the smell of this beer. I forgot. Oh, just as good as I remember it.
I picked this up at Ben's last week to take to Z's, and we had a couple extras, so here they are.
Kentucky Tangerine Cream Ale.
Dude, I love the body, like the mouthfeel.
It's so different.
It is. That's why I think it's so interesting.
I don't know.
You don't know what? What did you know?
I don't think I like it as much as you guys. Is what I'm saying.
I like it a lot. You like it, Trev?
I do.
I don't think I don't like it, and I will take another drink of it.
I love the mouthfeel of it. I love how it's like not like bubbly. It's like cream. It's like I like it.
Yeah, and it's a little different than I've had cream ales before.
It does absolutely have the citrus notes too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Normally you don't see that with cream ale.
Correct. It definitely has that orangey tangerine-y.
You smell it too. It's got great
aroma.
But
it's funny. They advertise it as aged in oak bourbon barrels, but it only drinks at a 5.5. They're out of Lexington, Kentucky, so they are actually the Kentucky, brewing. But 5.5 is strange for a beer that advertises as barrel aged, which is why it remains easy to drink. Like I could chug this beer if I wanted to. Yeah.
Like, I am chugging it.
Yeah, no, I agree though. Aged, whenever you see aged in bourbon barrels, you're thinking that's gonna
at least an 8%er.
Closer to, I would
10 even normally.
I was like surprised when I remember I first tasted this 2 weekends ago or whatever weekend it was.
Yeah, it was last weekend.
I remember being surprised, kind of being like, oh,
hey now.
Yeah, like kind of surprised with like how the whole mouthfeel and everything felt. Like I was like, oh wow, that's different. That's good.
Well, that's why I grabbed it. It just looked so different, and for all the reasons, the tangerine cream, the 5.5 for a barrel, like. Different one.
You got to throw some darts. No, and I like different things. I'd rather know if I like it or not than wonder if I like it or not. Yeah. So buy the fucking beer. Like, there's so much out there, dude. There's nothing wrong with having fallbacks and flagships, but open your mind a little bit.
Yeah, that's what this pod is about, man. We've done so many different beers. We've had a couple redos, but most of the beers that we've had on here, it's easily over 100 beers, and they're all very different beers.
And easy to source, really. Like we didn't have to like order them and wait for hella weeks or whatever. It was just like go to your local grocery or liquor store. Finding a local beer seller is a little harder though. Like Craft, we're very fortunate to have. Like that shit that we get from all over the world, we're very fortunate to have. Like,
but you each got like a Total Wine or a Bevmo or something similar.
If you're on the West Coast, Total Wine is the way to go. I think they're nationwide as well, but the Total Wine is actually step their shit up, I would say.
But also, like, think about how many like stinkers we have. I mean, we what's it called? Gave us like a whole stinker pack.
Yes.
But other than that, like, it's not like we have a bunch of stinkers. There's ones that I don't necessarily like because it's got like
very dusty,
where it's got like some of the barrel age maybe a little much. The sours, last sour was actually not bad. But other than that, like we don't necessarily like. There's some where Chuck's like, oh, too much coffee. Sure. But there's not like a lot of like stinkers in the fact that the beer sucks. It's more flavor
profile. 1000%.
Correct. Dust Bowl did kind of suck the dust out of me or the bowl out of me.
We tried four. We tried four,
and the one was good.
One was okay, and the rest were not good.
Correct.
Yeah, it was.
Well, they were just plain. They weren't bad.
There was a couple that was just very schmeh.
They just plain. It was just a plain like beer,
which is weird. Because, like, that's not what you're aiming for. Like,
your beer shouldn't taste the same as another beer that's a different beer.
It shouldn't just, exactly. You shouldn't just be able to say beer, right? You should be able to give some description to it.
It should have just said beer IPA, beer IPA, beer IPA, and then the one was okay.
Sorry, Dust Bowl.
Sorry. And then the fourth one just said, this one's okay. Oh, shoot. Yeah, no, that was a consensus, though. That was the only time we've all turned one, like, collectively been like,
Trev missed out on one of them.
Oh, that's right. Oh, darn. Yeah, we paid tribute.
But that's all right. Let's start with a little coaches carousel talk before we get into the games that are going to be happening in a couple hours.
Shortly.
Fuck, dude. I don't even know how much I'm telling you guys. I am nervous. I love one game. I'll be like, sitting there cheering. I'll probably be a little nervous this second game. I got so much, not like riding like money or anything.
Wait, hold on. We're not previewing games. I thought you just queued up the coaching carousel. And I thought you were going to go into a different topic.
Then I started talking about games. Well, I was just saying how nervous I am for the second one. Coaching carousel. Dude. So let's start with, we already know
give us the hires.
Patriots hired
Vrabel. He was the first
last week. He was either the 1 or 2 coaching candidate on people's boards.
How sad is that Mayo is the fall guy, right? Like, they say for years, you're going to be the dude, and he does his due diligence, waits it out. Now, was he the greatest of head coaches? Probably not. But
it's always tough when you don't give a coach more than a year.
Well, he doesn't get to build a roster. He doesn't get to build a culture. He doesn't even get to have another draft. He doesn't even get to try to build a program in any discernible sense. He had one roster, and you said you didn't do well enough with this only roster that I gave you.
They knew they were getting Vrabel midway through the year.
That's the sad thing, is I think that he knew he was the fall guy because as soon as Vrabel became available, because when they hired Mayo, Vrabel was still under Titans' contract. So I just, that sucks, Mayo. And you didn't have the best season, which is why you can justify it, but it's dirty. I don't know.
But they said they saw no growth in like the coaching.
Of course they fucking didn't, because they wanted Vrabel.
Well, you see what you want to see that in 1 year. I mean, and Vrabel's bringing in his buddy McDaniel
for
coming
OC.
Back. So yay!
Is that really happening? I didn't see that.
Yep.
So is he like triple dipping? Is he just getting paid from like several different places, McDaniels?
I don't know. Fuck that guy.
I know the Raiders are still paying him as well. Yeah, he's a very fuckable guy. He's a shit lister, maybe, you know?
He is.
Stay tuned.
I'd vote. We might run out of room.
Board's going to be full.
Well, it's because we
have to be high enough on the carrot. We got to set
we have
parameters.
To make parameters. That's the whole point, and it'll be all talked about, and you guys are going to hear it next. You know, Pod 83. Stay tuned.
So Vrabel gets hired. Great hire. The Mayo shit sucks. Great hire. He's going to do what he does. He's going to put together. That's why I thought he was before Mayo got fired. I was like, dude, he's our next head coach. I was for sure of it.
The connections were too easy. The connections were too fucking easy.
Come in and do what he wants.
He knows, but he knows Patriot culture. Kraft is comfortable with him. He will give him a little bit longer of a leash.
He's the only Patriot person to leave and be successful.
He's taking a team to the number 1 seed.
Well, they were always good with him. I mean, would they go the last year because they were really hurt? But Henry was hurt most of the year. They were
always competitive at least,
right?
Which is an upgrade for anything that New England's done since Bill Belichick's been gone.
So that's one piece off the board. Patriots done.
Sure.
Second piece,
and that connection does make sense. I don't like what they did to Mayo, as previously stated, but I 100% understand organizationally why they did what they did.
Second piece of all, Ben Johnson went to the Bears.
Bears.
Great hire.
Bears.
It's going to...
This is who Caleb wanted.
Correct. This is what you have to do. Now you just have to be on pace.
This is what I think he wanted, because that's the reason he didn't leave Detroit. Correct. And then he does another great season in Detroit. And he's bringing in, it sounds like, a lot of past players as coaches. Just like the Lions had done, to maybe try and recreate that. And you're going in a division you already know very well. Like, I think this is going to be very good.
Fans are,
I think this is going to be very good for
it should
the Bears.
It absolutely should be, and I really do hope it does. I want to see a 4,000-yard passer.
Let's bring it back to the Lions in 2 talks, because there's a lot going on.
Well, they got both their.
So the next, so that's gone.
Hold on. Do we not get to talk about Ben Johnson before we go on?
No, I was saying. So you got Ben Johnson.
Going to talk.
He's like the number 2 candidate, right? So off the board, boom. So he's hired. I think it's
probably the number 1 candidate. Vrabel was just the number 1 for New England specifically, I think, right?
Well, I think it could be both, because I think he'd have been number 1 for the Raiders too. I think
Vrabel
would have been. I think Vrabel would have been. Vrabel would
better
have been.
than. We'll get into. I cannot believe, dude. It's a little vomit inducing. We'll cover it.
So I think it's a great hire. I think what he does now, it's like just who he brings in. coaching wise to like help him.
Sure.
Dennis Allen's supposedly coming to be defense coordinator.
There's nothing more frustrating than when you believe in your head coach, but you don't believe in your coordinators.
Right. But
that shit sucks.
And we've seen Dennis Allen be a great coordinator for the Saints for all those years. And he's had the experience of being like the head coach and fired twice to kind of like help out and like at least help. Like
he has that experience.
He's been around
he's better coordinator.
Correct.
Obviously,
he's a great coordinator. He's one of those ones that should just stay a coordinator.
No, he knows
Some
that now.
guys are.
He knows that now.
So I think it's a good hire, dude. I think they're on the right path. Now it's just getting stuff fixed and changing. You have to change the culture.
It gives me excitement for Caleb in the future because I was worried if they would have brought in a defensive guy that maybe his growth wouldn't be what I think it could be with someone like Ben Johnson.
I don't disagree. You know what needs to happen is him and DJ Moore need to sit there at their practice field and they need to throw rep after rep after rep after rep. They were not on the same fucking page at all this year. And DJ Moore, they just signed a contract this offseason. Yep. He is going to be the WR number one. Not that Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen's on his way out, right?
He's a free agent.
Right. He signed the 1 year.
Odunze is a great second option.
Right. So, but I'm saying, but you go and you get on a field somewhere warm. I don't care if you go back to LA and you fucking, go back that direction. But you guys throw route after route. You guys did not like each other this year, and that cannot be a thing next year.
Also, I think you got Swift and you got the kid Roschon Johnson. If you like those, you're going to see Ben's going to run the ball.
Which is why I think he saw that offense and was like, all right, the deficiencies that you have, if we can fix this, we're almost there. We could be there.
Well, and with Ben Johnson as a head coach, I think they still bring in another running back probably in the draft too, just because you're going to almost mirror, I think, Detroit's model in some ways.
Well, right now with Swift and Roschon, you are kind of that same Sonic and Knuckles. Swift's kind of the speed, where Roschon is more of the power of the
guy.
guy.
Got to get them holes up front.
Well, that's offensive lines.
That's what they need to address.
Trash.
Offensive line's number one priority for that team.
I know how that feels.
So that's hire number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Hire number 3 was the Glenn to the Jets.
The Jets. Is that the domino that falls?
Which is another. I think it's great for Aaron Glenn. I think he should have went to the Saints. Less shit to deal with. I think it's such a confusing hire for the Jets. In the fact that now you went back to another defensive person, your offense sucks, you're kind of in shambles, so you hope that Aaron's going to bring some culture and just fix it.
Did they get an OC yet?
Not that I've seen yet. So now I don't know. For the Jets, I don't know. You hired the GM or the guy from the Commanders, right? As your GM, right? That's who you hired for your GM.
Yes, correct.
So now, are you looking as the Jets? You're kind of no quarterback weird zone as well, and drafting behind the Raiders. So what are you doing at quarterback? So now you bring Aaron Glenn in, and so I don't know. It's a good hire, but it's not.
They got that kid out of Florida State, Travis Hunter. Not Travis. Jesus Christ, I fucked up. Jordan Travis, right?
Travis.
That's it.
Good job, buddy.
He is on the roster, yeah.
But I don't know if he's he's not.
He's doing it. Watch out. I
like him, but I don't know if he's. I don't know. It's another weird. It's not a weird.
Well, we didn't see him not once this season, right. So what's that say?
He was hurt. I don't know when he came back.
Was licking turds.
Remember, I don't know when he came back.
Dusty old white dog poo turd.
I think if you're the Jets, though, you still kind of like this hire as far as the coaches that are available. You get someone that's familiar with New York Jets. I mean, he was drafted there, right?
95.
And
wrote the song a long time
he's
ago.
Gonna command, I think, at least some respect. Getting real in Rodgers, if they stay with him, could be a thing. But other than that, I think he can get that defense plan. Where they go offensively is the big question.
It's a huge question.
Huge edge.
Because they were just defensively. I mean, I don't know. Chucky, what do you think?
I mean,
I like the guy. I just don't know if Jets was the... I thought Saints would have been a better...
But what they need to do, I think, for the first time in a while, the Jets made the right call instead of the flashy call. Now it's whether or not they can stick by it and give him a couple of years to get that back into the system. You can't expect him in fucking, 18 months to have the machine up and running in the way that you want it to. It's not going to be competing for championships. You don't have a quarterback, which is the number one thing you need in the NFL.
Well, I think
Tyrod Taylor's a backup.
Number one, though, is got to be that OC. Whoever they bring in for that. I mean, that could be
make or break
for
no, I don't disagree.
Aaron Glenn and his head coaching.
Maybe that's why he didn't just have a team ready for him, and he's going to go do maybe some interviews or something. Maybe he's got to have something in mind.
But you have to have something in mind when you interview for the job.
Right? Exactly. You
know
have a plan.
You know who in your mind you're going to start calling.
You would have to.
You would have
to.
Because I'm guessing.
Otherwise, you wouldn't interview for the head coaching job.
I'm guessing you're telling.
I'm not walking into a head coaching interview without knowing the staff that I'm going to try to bring. Right.
So I'm sitting here, right, and I'm like,
you are sitting there.
You're talking to me, and you're interviewing me, and you're like, so who are you bringing in? And I'm like, well, I don't really know. Why would you hire me?
Exactly.
I got to be telling you, well, I'm looking at
so-and-so,
offense,
this person, that person.
This scheme is where I'm absolutely.
Especially if you are a defensive person talking about getting in an offensive.
So we're just going to hit the quarterback.
You have to know who you're bringing in, right? And then as an offensive person, you got to know defensively, I need to bring in this guy, and this guy who I trust is calling my stuff. Like you have to, because you're one way or the other. You're either an offensive person or a defensive person. So, unless you're like Campbell or the other Harbaugh, John Harbaugh, where you're more of a special teams guy, or tight end, where you're more of the hype guy.
Right.
So you bring in two different guys. But you have to know in these interviews,
which
right?
is going to affect the Lions overall.
Dude, so here's where I want to talk about the Lions.
Sidebarring. Let's go. Give me some.
Boys, are the Lions? They just hired the linebacker coach. They hired within. They didn't go out and get anybody.
Okay.
Is this the Eagles of a couple years ago, where they're gonna just fuck this year up and then have to try to figure it out and pull it all back again the next year? Because this year is significant with where they're at in contract wise with Goff and some of these other guys. Their window is starting to kind of run out on this maybe team, where they're gonna have to start paying some of these other dudes.
When you lose two quality coordinators, the play calling is going to suffer.
We've seen the effects.
That team is loaded pretty much with talent, though, on the offense, and the defense has gotten a lot better, and they're still growing.
When they're healthy.
Yeah, and so, I mean, it's a bit worrisome, I think.
Especially when the rest of that division's so fucking good. You have the Vikings, who quarterback
conferences.
The Packers are, I think,
we'll talk about.
They get a veteran receiver on that team. Look out, and then you get.
I don't think LaFleur gets as much loving as he should up there.
Dude, I think he's one of the best coaches.
He does a couple of crappy game management calls sometimes, but overall, that guy's a winner. And then he doesn't win under 11 games in 5 years.
And then now you have Ben Johnson going to the Bears. Dude, the Lions are in a spot that is, you have 3 offensive coaches now that are all talked about of being elite at what they do.
Yeah, and that's a good point that you bring up.
Coach of the year.
Hiring within, though, too, because you want to try and keep it familiar, but not getting a strong mind or a strong personality at one of those positions.
Done it before.
That can go either way, really quick, especially in that strong of a division, like you were saying.
You're looking at maybe the North being one of the best divisions in football next year.
No, you're not looking at it. It's going to be.
You have 4 quarterbacks that are all in the top 15. We could talk about it we'll talk about it in a couple pods about who actually is in the top 15. But there's all 4 of them could be in the top 15.
Yeah.
Depending on who you start. Depending on what you see.
Probably not. Yeah, I was going to say the Vikings would be the exception, but you still feel pretty good about it with Kevin O'Connell and the way that team is put out.
I mean, it's just so that's hire number 3.
Number Trace. Quattro.
Hire number 4. Jacksonville Jaguars hire Liam Cohen.
Ooh.
They want Conan, look like Conan like them. They weren't going to hire him sometimes, and then they fire Balky,
and he says,
and then next year later he signs that fucking deal, dude.
Well, and they did increase, I believe, that contract number.
Homeboy gets to stay in Florida. He ain't got to go too far.
Baker Mayfield just had a better year after the previous year, where his OC gets hired to the Carolina Panthers. Man.
Dude, the Bucs have been taking shots left and right on their OCs. But you have, dude, Jacksonville's got to be excited as a fan base. Hopefully, Liam Cohen can get your number one pick back to what he looked like 2 years ago.
Back. Come on, Trevor.
Come on, Trevor.
We're back where he was 2 years ago, and then you have Brian Thomas Jr.
He's got arm talent. Keep him upright. Let him read the field.
There's pieces to work with. A lot of more pieces on the offense than the defense. Defense needs to be worked on.
You're taking a defensive player most likely at 5.
It's honestly, it's just their back end. Their front seven is fair. It's fair. They need some line.
I think Mason Graham would be a home run for them.
I think that's 5. The projection early on, at least.
He'd be a home run for them at 5. He'd run stop 3 down defense tackle.
I wouldn't mind if he falls though.
He ain't falling to you.
He ain't falling to you, brother.
Come on,
but Trev, there's no fucking way Mason Graham's falling out of the top 6.
No fucking way.
It's out of the top 7. Let's just say the Jets are there.
They're fucking there.
You don't think the Jets pads? They have Quinn Williams.
So I'm more excited for the Jaguars to fire Balky than I was for them to hire.
Dude, because look,
I think that's a better move overall, dude. Balky has shown to be a shit GM, dude.
Yeah,
you know about that?
That guy.
What you know about that?
That guy should not be getting paid no mas by the NFL. Or he should be in a different role because the GM seat ain't for that dude.
Ain't for that dude.
Let
me get a little drink of this beer real quick so I can wet my whistle before we go to higher number 5.
Number 5.
Well, while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to steal this segment and just say, hey, Salah, highest paid D coordinator. I'm so happy we brought him back. Let's go. Let's go.
What was piece number 5 down here? Hey, you know what? I'm happy for you.
Well, thank you.
I'm not.
I'm happy for him.
It's a perfect pairing.
It's fine.
It's familiarity. We still got a lot of. I think it works well.
It works great. Piece number 5.
Numero 5.
The Raiders hire Pete Carroll.
Oh my God.
For their head coach.
Hey, okay, so I was talking about this in the text chain. I just got to bring this up real quick.
I don't know how I feel about
there's
this.
like 7 active head coaches of the Super Bowls, and 4 of them are in the AFC West now.
Right, yeah. We were trying to break that down.
Jim Harbaugh's been to a Super Bowl, but he hasn't.
No, John Harbaugh's won one.
But AFC West. Jim coaches the Chargers. He's been, but he's never won.
Yeah, I'm talking about Super Bowl champions, though. I'm talking about guys that have got there and won. Currently, that are active head coaches in the league, there's only 7, and 4 of them play.
Well, no, but he's saying that technically it can't be a 4th one because Harbaugh never won one. He's been there, but never won the Super Bowl.
He's been to one. He hasn't won.
He took you there, and his brother beat him. That's where John got one.
That's where John won.
Yes,
his second one.
Was he part of that first? No, he wasn't 97.
No, so that was his first one?
It was his only one.
That's got to be his only one.
That's how hard them fuckers are to get, man. That's why Andy Reid and fucking Patrick Mahomes are so goddamn irritating.
So here's how.
Speaking of
here's
that,
how
those
I feel.
Motherfuckers. All right, let's not sidebar into that. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Petey, dude, brother.
Here's how I feel. I feel that
hell of a coach. You're getting a hell of a motivator of men.
I feel that it's what the team needed. Understand the hire. It's not necessarily a home run hire to me, and I'll get to that in a second. I think it's great. He's going to come in, change culture, start building the team. But in that same effect, you're 74, and I think you're there for 4 years, so we're on a 4-year plan to now look at somebody else.
What's in a 3-year contract?
He's got a 4th-year option.
Okay.
So even if we do the 4th-year option, he does a 4th-year option. So I think it's a great hire in the fact of what we need, but then you're on a short-term leash that now who's the next person in the 4 years. So if Pete does, I really think that, you come out and last year we would have been better. I was just more smoke. But this year, with the pieces you have and the pieces that stepped up, you can get some of those guys back in free agency. The Morig, the Splains, the Coons, Malcolm Coons is coming back free agent wise, and then you have the Clausen kid that got drafted by the Jags a couple years ago. We got him in on like a week trade, and then he played really well. You can get all these guys back. You're starting to build something defensively, whether you go get Patrick Graham or Gus Bradley. Gus Bradley was just there a couple years ago and had a really good defense with us. Under Gruden, the last year of Gruden, Gus Bradley was that D coordinator. Patrick Graham's been really good. So it's, Pete's going to come in and build that culture, but what are you doing in the 4 years? Now the offensive coordinator, is up for talk. So I was lowering down some names. I wrote down Matt Nagy, Bobby Slowick, Byron Leftwich, Frank Wright, and then Frank Smith has no relation other than that he played tight end, and he's the offensive coordinator for the Dolphins, or the passing coordinator for the Dolphins. He was mentioned just because he has ties to the Raiders as a player. So I don't know, but I think it's a good hire in the fact that that's what needs to happen. But now we're looking short term. There's no long term effect with the Pete. I love Pete, but like max 6 at that point he's 80.
Yeah, no.
Like, so that's like where my hang up is. Like so my first 3 are gone. Vrabel, Ben Johnson, and Conan are gone. Monken, I don't really think that was like whatever. I don't know about Monken as a coach. I don't know if I loved his play calling in the last 2 playoffs as a Baltimore Ravens fan. Or not as a Baltimore Ravens fan, but if I was a Baltimore Ravens fan, I don't know if I love him. But after that, like you weren't where was, Brian Flores never got interviewed. Look what he did as a Dolphins. I know he had like the offensive problems, but look what he did as a Dolphins coach. Dude, they were like good. They played hard all the fucking time. Maybe he learned something with Kevin O'Connell, So I just feel like I like Pete. I love Pete, but I just think it's such a short-term answer. He's in a turner. He turns it around in the 4 years. So you like a Mark Jackson. So you turn it around in like 3 or 4 years, and then now we're looking at like who the next coach is going to be.
But is it the right short answer? Like, I mean, it looks with his age in the contract, he seems like the setup man for the Raiders, especially with the state of the rest of your division. I mean, the other 3 teams all made the playoffs.
Right. Exactly. And they're all like not like old coaches, but they're not young coaches, but they're not like all like real old. Like the Pete Carroll thing is, I like it. He's going to come in and turn around, but then who are we looking at in 4 or 5 years, 6 years? It's not like that. He's not around for 10, 12 years. Like,
that's why I think you're really hoping that you bring in someone on that staff that could become that next guy.
Right. Is Bobby Slow come in and you're kind of like, hey, if you can like turn this shit around, maybe you have a seat at the table.
That's what I would be hoping for.
That's all. That's what I got.
That's it for the Raiders, huh?
That's what I got.
Anything for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're thinking too far in the future, bro. You haven't been able to hold on to a coach for more than a season in the last 3.
Well, that's because they've done stupid hires.
Well, then take a coach that for 3 years is solid, 4 years
Chuck,
is
I
solid.
said I liked it. I didn't love it. It's still
you're already looking towards situations that you cannot control, right?
Well, shouldn't you be looking at hiring somebody
4 years down the road?
Impact?
Now, flip the switch. That's what he's here to do. Like, Dan Quinn didn't expect to go to Washington and be in an NFC Championship. You know what I mean? Like, you have to. The best time to enjoy success is now, and I think that Petey's trying to come in and get it done. Right? Well, he wants his regime to try to get one, and he wants to stick it down Harbaugh's throat and down Reed's throat and
that
down
rivalry,
Peyton's throat. Yeah, no, it's. There's some things going on in the AFC West.
Dude, Chuck, I understand it. I think it's like a good hire. I
think you're thinking too baseball-y. And you're thinking too baseball-y.
We all love Pete. USC fans. We got a Seahawks.
He's got me a chip, baby. I'm Team Pete Carroll to the day I die, for sure. Like, I thought he got a raw deal kind of leaving Seattle. I get why we did what we did. I thought we were past it. I thought the NFL, which is why I don't know if it's the greatest of hires, because I don't know. He wasn't able to build coordinators at all. About the last 5 years of his 6 years of his Seahawk.
And that's why the offensive coordinator part makes me the nerve part, because the ones that he did have are all like open and available. Bevel is like the wide receiver coach, or one. He's like, isn't he on? He's on the Dolphins staff too right now. Dorkface just got fired. So Waldron just got fired from the Bears. So you don't want him. So it's just like you got to have the right. The OCs makes me more nervous. The defensive coordinator, if you went back and got Patrick Graham, dude, he's already been there for years. It's a great hire. And then Gus Bradley, he's already been there and done it with that team. And some of those players played for Gus Bradley.
And Pete's more defensive anyways. I don't think that you worry about that too much.
It's the offensive
OC,
it's
man.
The offense, because
that can change your trajectory.
Right. It's huge. It's huge.
It is
the biggest hire right now.
Outside of getting a guy under center, are you sure? That's the next biggest step that you need to take.
You got to get you got to kill the OC call. I think it's a good hire. I just am.
Since we brought up the QB though, do you want to just draft or you want to go after Sam?
Trev, that's a whole nother pod. We got to keep moving on.
No. I respect it. I respect it. We're on the coaching carousel because that could be a sidebar that leads too deep.
I could go crazy. I got lots of thoughts on that too.
We'll come back to
and
that.
The last and final hire of the week is the worst, easily
my Lord.
Of the last century.
And it kind of makes me happy. How did this happen? How did it happen?
Because you're not giving up any control, and you're getting
Brian
insane.
Schottenheimer,
no one else interviewed him.
who was a failed OC in Seattle. Got ran out of town.
Everywhere.
Went back. He's been failed pretty much everywhere he's gone. I don't know how he's late. Is it because Marty is his dad? He's just got the strings being pulled for him?
I don't know. I don't know how this hire even.
Because Marty Schottenheimer was a hell of a head coach.
You didn't.
I heard it was reported that the Dak and some of the players on the team were behind this.
You know why, right? Because they want that cushy. They got the easy with him. He knows what the boys like, what the players like to do. They don't have no hard ass coach coming in changing things.
Yeah, how didn't
doing
Jerry's got to like it too because he's got to feel like he's still the guy.
Right, and
that's why he did it.
You know what? I honestly don't think Jerry Jones is trying to win another Super Bowl. I think he's just trying to make fucking money and be in public view.
Dude, why wouldn't you have looked at Brian Flores, Robert Saleh?
Terrible, absolutely fucking terrible.
You didn't like
Brian Schottenheimer is not.
Steve Spagnuolo deserves probably another shot at some point. Spags deserves. Dude, he's got one of the best defenses.
The Cowboys, I think.
That's another
guy. I thought
guy.
they were going to go defensive guy for head coach because it seemed like you get that fixed, the offense is good enough.
I thought Spags was a.
He was right. I'm surprised that no one's trying to take him away from Kansas City. He was right in that team.
I think he's wanted to stay a coordinator.
We were gonna.
I don't know if his hat is even in the. Yeah, I think he's chill. I think he knows what the stress is. He's out, dude. He's got it made. He does what he does.
All
great.
These other
he's
great
winning
teams
chips.
Get weakened by their coordinators being taken away, and nobody wants to hurt the Chiefs.
Well, no, but if homeboy doesn't want to go nowhere, then I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to offer him?
I would really like to drink this glow stick hazy beer.
I think he just likes where he's at. I can't be mad at the man for that. Like,
me either. We were mad at the league.
I think we were going to offer him we were going to interview him. Pretty sure. I saw that as one of the names on the list. You just couldn't yet.
I mean, you want to weaken your division. That would be a great way to do so.
Chuck, that's not what you're looking for.
That is a horrible poor bro. Who are you?
I'm Chuck Roscoe.
Yeah, bro.
Punch you right in the throat.
That was
right
real
now.
bad.
Jump across this table.
That was real bad.
I tried to hard pour and a little too hard. It was very hard. Fucked the hole in the wall hard.
I mean, it's just a shitty hire, dude. It's just Cowboys just cowboyed it. You're just gonna you're insignificant next year. You have a quarterback that's getting paid way too fucking much money.
They cowboyed the fuck out of that, and it makes me happy.
Yes, with the emergence of the Commanders in the Eagles roster,
such a dumb hire.
Cowboys are making the playoffs for years. It feels like at this point.
All the Giants have to do is get a couple things right, and they're going to be right there with the Cowboys.
Yeah,
they basically just did the equivalent of drafting Jamarcus Russell first overall. Yeah, you set your franchise back for 7 to 10 years, give or take, something like that. There's just going to be a cascade of shit
because you're not going to fire him next year either.
I hope Jerry Jones. I don't know. Maybe
Jerry hold on to motherfuckers.
Traditionally,
he should have told on to Mike McCarthy.
He gave Mike 6 years? Was it like 6 years?
That was that was
Garrett. He only gave Mike's 5 years.
That was the issue, though. Is what was reported is the length of the contract is why they couldn't come to an agreement.
Yeah. He only probably wanted to give Mike a 2-year deal or some bullshit.
Yeah,
I mean, it looks like Mike's going to be out of a job if we're correct in who we think the Saints are going to go with.
I don't know. Yeah.
Traditionally, guys don't go from head coach to fired to being a head coach unless you're Frank Reich, and that looked like shit when he went from fucking
I wouldn't mind hiring him
to the Panthers anyway.
I got him on my list as OCs, maybe.
Sure, coordinator. Yeah, no, but once again, like very rarely do you get fucking axed from a goddamn
head coaching job. And
and then immediately, and then be good at it.
Let's cheers for some playoff football coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what we got talking next. Playoff talk.
That's why we're doing the early pod today.
Early pod. Dude, we got to get cooking some meat.
I'm so excited for today.
Oh, dude, are you kidding me, bro? I've been looking forward to this all week.
I got to fucking go home and shovel.
I know.
It's fucking snowing in
Welcome
Reno.
to the high desert, baby.
Snow of the year.
Welcome to the high desert.
I like that.
Have we had this before?
No, we had the other Crux one. I looked it up. It's like the high stick or something. Or I gotta look it up. We had a picture. I have a picture on my phone.
These are boys.
I like this, dude.
Yummy.
How many have we had of this?
Crux couple.
Is this 2?
Just like 3.
2, 3?
I don't know, brother. We've drank a lot of beer on this pod.
You're usually better with the numbers on those. The vibes of the tropical mood, mellow. I like
it's
it, dude.
I'd say it's a mellow.
It's very mellow.
Hazy.
I like it, dude.
That's a good word to represent.
Once again, look at the color. If you rewind the color on our first hazy versus this hazy, this is much more translucent. That first one was fucking
milky.
Yeah,
milky.
Very juicy.
Give me your milk.
5.9. These boys out of Eugene, Oregon. Bend, sorry.
Bend.
Let me not misspeak. Bend, Oregon. So
you been to Bend? I've been to Bend.
Well, not as an adult.
Oh.
I've definitely driven down I-5, as a kid through the Washington, Oregon area. But
Bend's great for camping and beer.
Two things I like a whole lot, brother. Oh, goodness. Especially at the same time.
Sure.
When you're camping with the good beer, that's when you know you got it.
I mean, they got breweries, and then, they got a lot of, nice camping areas.
For sure. Glow Stick Hazy. Drinks at, I think I already said this, a 5.9.
Did you?
Oh,
yeah, he did. I was trying to find that other beer we had.
Solid.
It's tasty as fuck.
Tasty as fuck.
Crux themselves does some good beer overall. Oregon has stepped up some beer game.
They're up top.
As a state, I can't.
Northwest got it going.
Northwest got it going.
Southwest got it going.
Nevada, Reno got it going. We got a lot of legit shit going on.
Oh, all along the whole western side of the United States, we have caught up. It's no longer an East Coast game or a Midwest game. Like, the West Coast is putting up numbers out here when it comes to beer. Like, there's some solid fucking East Coast breweries and some solid Southern breweries and Northern there's some great ones in Michigan. But, like, if you go Colorado West, bro, you're looking at fucking so many good breweries just in, like, 6 states that way.
Hang tight.
That was it. Yeah.
Hang tight, West Coast.
It had the big old green logo on. Yeah. Okay. Dope. It's just a regular IPA. But
West Coast. It says West Coast.
No. West Coast. West, y'all.
All right.
Don't stop. West, y'all.
Today.
Today is what?
Noon.
Championships under.
Noontime. Commanders at Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
Oh, man, that's going to be
Eagles
fucking...
Commanders lost their...
Slabanaka.
Commanders lost their best offensive lineman last week.
He was their best?
One of them.
It doesn't matter if he's a starter or a swing, you're still gonna miss him.
Jalen Carter is
especially against the Eagles line.
Jalen Carter's on an absolute fucking tear right now, boys.
Is Nolan Smith still out? Is he still?
I don't know. He had a good game 2 games.
No, I'm sorry, N'Kobe Dean.
N'Kobe Dean is still
that's
out.
That's it. Okay.
Nolan Smith's still playing. He's on fire.
My bad. I saw the Georgia boys. I got to remember. Man.
Even Jordan,
the Philly Dogs.
Even Jordan Davis is playing really well. Carter's killing it. Davis is playing really well. Their
so
defense,
much meat in the middle of that fucking defense.
And that's the problem. If you're gonna get those guys are gonna be coming free, you're gonna have to spy him because he might be running a lot today.
Yeah,
they're gonna. I mean, I think Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis.
But luckily, you do.
Maybe
you have the back end.
To Eckler.
You have the back end. You have the back end that can keep up with the backyard style play. Like Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean should be fine on the back end.
Like it's Coop.
But without N'Kobe Dean in the middle of that defense,
let's go Scary Terry.
Stopping.
You got Zach Braun is playing outstanding.
We should have brought him up for
phenomenal player.
Defensive MVP. We missed him. Yeah. Dude, we should have brought that up.
He's a free agent out of his noggin.
He's on that list. We got to go through that dude. I can't wait. Oh, we got some free agents talking about going. But I think is that who's? I would almost have Coop be the dude that's spying Jaden with the speed. And Coop is so good.
No, you can't sacrifice secondary for a spy. You always spy with a linebacker.
I don't know if I want.
I've never seen a secondary spy. Maybe it might happen, but I can't recall it. To be fair,
I'd be safety spying him with as fast as he is.
I think you try it just to see how that works.
Because dude,
if you've got a guy, most safeties aren't even.
Carter's eating today. Carter's having lunch, dinner, breakfast. He's coming clean.
You're going to try.
And you're not going to be able, running the ball up the middle today is going to be a fucking huge problem.
That's going to be,
Robinson's
difficult.
a fucking animal, dude. Brian Robinson's a fucking stud.
It's going to be a tough
But he's going to have
task.
to make a motherfucker miss or two, for sure.
It's going to be a tough task.
No, I think he's going to be on the field more than Eckler because I don't think they're going to have the ability to necessarily utilize the running back in the passing game.
I might disagree. I think Eckler would be a better, like Trev said, maybe a better drop-down guy, screen pass guy, because you're going to have those guys eating all day. The defensive line is coming after that.
Yeah, I think with that defensive line, you have to pass to open up the run.
Which is why you bring the guy in who can do pass pro. Brian Robinson, not that Eckler doesn't hold his own. I won't.
But if you're gonna dunk it to somebody in the backfield, it's Eckler.
Oh yeah, 1,000,000%. But I don't think Daniels is going to want that game plan. I think he's still going to want to try to push the ball downfield. I think we're going to see more Robinson than Eckler. Although when Eckler pops, he still looks great. Eckler still has a play or two where it's like, God damn, dude, how did they let him go? For $3 million is all you got to pay this motherfucker. And he out here just dicing motherfuckers up.
Yeah,
dude.
but he doesn't see a lot of playing time.
But when he's out there, dude, he's had some meaningful plays for that team across the season.
You got to save him for when you can get it.
Well, then let him pop it. It's crazy to me though that a guy who can change the game is devalued. Makes me sad.
I don't know if Eckler can. Eckler's got plays.
I'm not saying all the time,
right?
Not anymore.
Yeah.
You guys are obviously Commanders, right?
Well, I want them to win, but I don't think they're going to.
Head versus heart is what you're saying. Head versus heart. Yeah, Head thinks Philly. Heart wants Commanders.
Yeah, we bet the Eagles. We're rooting for the Commanders.
If the Commanders won, dude, I'd be
you'd be cheering.
Well, I'd be happy for a minute.
Depending on the other game.
Game number 2 at 3:30 Eastern time.
12:30. No, 3:30.
3:30
Eastern time.
No, 3:30 West Coast.
There you go.
3:30 West Coast.
6:30 Eastern time.
Is Bills at Chiefs, boys. This is the game that makes me nervous.
Oh, it does. And I don't even have skin in this game.
I shouldn't.
We do have skin in this game, Chuck. We bet the Bills.
That is true.
But this is more for more of a betting them or whatever. This is more Jay's got to get this dub.
Break the cycle. We can't.
We need to get out of the Mahomes era. We got to get out of the Mahomes era.
At least give him someone
that
challenges him.
We got to get the fuck out of the Mahomes era, dude.
Burrow.
This is I know Bills aren't my team, but this is my team going.
Nobody. Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Tom Brady in the Super Bowl and Joe Burrow in an AFC Championship. Those are the only 2 playoff losses Mahomes has ever suffered. He's in his 8th season and he's never
He should have lost another one. Didn't
he? That's
on you, McDermott. That's on you.
That's on you,
dude. That was like the game I fell in love with Josh Allen. Where I was like,
that was one of the greatest games I believe
I've ever watched.
Same.
Modern NFL history,
that I've ever watched.
Ever,
just back and forth.
And Allen just was running balls, jumping over people, throwing it. Dude, it was epic.
13
offensive
seconds.
performance.
Hey, it just goes to show, ladies.
13
seconds can be important.
But dude, I think it's going to be a great game. If the Bills win and the Commanders win, I'd be ecstatic. If the Bills win, I'm ecstatic. Okay. I need the Bills.
As far as the general
the 4
NFL
teams are left,
fan,
I'm Bills first is who I want to come out of this.
I need this. I'm like fully invested, dude. I'm so tied to this.
America needs this.
America. Choose wisely.
America does need this. They don't need another Chiefs win. They need the Bills. America's team is the Buffalo Bills.
That's hilarious.
Bills Mafia, Josh Allen, Haley Steinfeld. What up? She's way better than T. Swizzy. We can have that debate off pod. We don't need to have that debate on pod. But dude, it's Bills Mafia, dude. It's what needs to happen. It's got to happen.
I think both are good for football. The Bills, because they are that story that everyone, I think, wants to get behind. And the Chiefs, because of the
AFC's not missing.
Historic ramifications.
The three-peat's on the table.
Could be on the table.
The three-peat would be pretty crazy to see in our lifetime.
Yes.
It would be something we'd be able to sit here and say, dude, we watched a team go back to back to back in the
NFL. In the what have you done for me lately league.
Correct. And you didn't lose, and you losing players here and there, but you never lost a coordinator because your head coach is the coordinator. Steve Spagnuolo is there for 6 years now. Dude, you have built the model citizen of what NFL should be coaching staff wise.
Everyone is they're building to fight this what has been built by the Chiefs. The Chiefs have built it well.
It does happen that you have probably right now he's already probably in the talk of top quarterbacks of all time. But you will go
for sure. He's got fucking 4 and 6 years.
You got the probably maybe the GOAT of all time, and then you maybe have the GOAT of all time calling the plays too. You could literally have the greatest coach of all time and the greatest quarterback of all time.
Okay, fine. Fuck it, dude. Come on. Anybody but the Chiefs. Seriously.
ABC.
Anybody but the Chiefs.
That works.
ABTC.
That's nice.
Yeah. Anybody but Chiefs.
Super Bowl isn't on ABC though, is it?
Don't wink at me. I'm gonna bust this fool's lazy eye over here. Zach, I want to know, what is the funniest movie you've ever seen?
Oh, damn. Here we go.
It's the funniest movie you have ever seen.
It's a tough question, Charlie. I can throw out some numbers.
Let's get some numbers.
Wedding Crashers definitely in that because I can watch it over and over. Wedding Ringer with Kevin Hart where he plays the best man to Josh Gad. That movie is fucking outstandingly funny. Horrible Bosses in general, amazing. Those boys get me laughing. Jennifer Aniston. Those movies are just amazingly. But then you can even bring it back to the Tommy Boys. Almost Heroes doesn't get enough love. The Adam Sandlers, I'm more of a Happy Gilmore than a Billy Madison. I still think Adam's got some great shit on Netflix. It's not as elite as maybe the Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore, but still funny. Those murder mysteries with Jennifer Aniston, those are hilarious. I was watching Pixels last night. That movie's sneaky funny. Josh Gad's in that one too. Kevin Hart in general makes me laugh my ass off. I don't know why, but The Man from Toronto with him and Harrison, Woody Harrison. Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson. That movie's fucking hilarious. So beer. Yeah, you need to.
But I mean, there's so many. You got
Major League, dude. I just saw you swipe past that.
Major League was great.
Bob Uecker and that we just talked about Bob Uecker last week, dude. He's so funny. Dude.
I like the Wayans brothers.
Did we talk about Bob Uecker passing?
I don't think we did.
Dude, cheers to Bob Uecker, dude.
Real quick.
Bob Uecker's a stud, dude. Major League, ball 6, ball 8. Hey, you can't be drinking. Hey, nobody's fucking watching this.
Oh man, there's the
meta joke on that's good.
Ace Ventura, the Austin Powers movies.
Austin Powers are
Hangover.
Hangover 1.
Superbad.
Superbad falls in the funny-year-old virgin column.
Superbad is fucking hilarious.
Wait, it's hilarious for the first 2 times, and then after that, I'm like,
No, I can watch that movie over and over and over again. For sure, I love that fucking movie.
Fucking Airplane. Dude.
Oh my god, Airplane is so good.
Naked Guns.
But that's why Airplane is the superior spoof as far as I'm concerned. Not that Naked Guns are about anything Leslie Nielsen does.
Dude,
is fucking hilarious.
I am a sucker for
Pink Panther. He does the Pink Panther movie.
Will Ferrell movies though too.
I'm not.
Anchorman.
Come on. I love. Oh, it is.
Will Ferrell does not tickle my. Old school tickles it. That's it. Yeah, that's it.
You have the most breathtaking hiney I have ever seen. I mean, that thing's good. I want to be friends with it. Like, what guy hasn't thought that when he saw a girl from across the bar? I was like, look,
and he just
never thought of that.
Bull, don't lie to me.
I don't ever know if I would have known that line, Charlie. I'm not an Anchorman fan. I'm not a Will Ferrell guy.
No, I don't mean the line specifically. Never mind, Zach. Old School is a good one. I definitely own Old School.
Old School classic. That's my one Will Ferrell. But that also got Vince and Luke in it.
Right, which I'm not a huge Vince Vaughn fan, but I do love me some Dodgeball. I think Dodgeball is hilarious. Him and Ben Stiller are good together in that one.
Huge Vince Vaughn.
Do we want to, Talladega Nights?
Of course. My sweet lord, dude. Ricky Bobby is hilarious.
That's like my
Semi-Pro is even great, dude. It's not as epic, but there's some funny. There's some funny fucking points.
I'm not a Will.
Woody Harrelson's in that one. What would you qualify Kick-Ass as? Is that a comedy? Is
that's
the first one like?
No, I would say that's
very violent, but it's hilarious.
I'd say more action, but it
fucking love that movie.
What about your Beverly Hills Cops?
That's comedy for sure. Eddie Murphy is for sure, dude. If you want to go back into the fucking 80s and stuff like
Rush
that,
Hours,
hilarious. Love Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan. Which
Friday.
is Shanghai
Ghostbusters.
Friday. My lord, let's calm down and back it up. Hold on, we need to separate. We are just because
Ghostbusters,
dude. Great. No, I'm Team Friday. If we're going Friday versus Ghostbusters, personally, like fucking Friday is an absolute classic, dude.
I'm just saying Ghostbusters is another like.
No, I love that, Trev. That's a great drop right there. There's so many. Don't be a menace while drinking the hood, or while drinking your juice in the hood. That's the Wayans Brothers, White Chicks. You were mentioning them earlier. Hilarious.
Wayans Brothers.
Harold and Kumar, I laughed my fucking balls off the first couple of times I watched those first ones.
Grandma's Boy.
Oh my God.
Boy. There we go.
You never throw a bong, kid. Ever.
Grandma's Boy's up there.
See me? Quiet your voice. You can't talk like that when the lion's around.
Dude, Grandma's Boy is hilarious.
It's perfect, dude. That movie is fucking hilarious, dude. Oh my God. You know another one that like it's if you revisit it and you still remember what it touches on, it's a spoof movie, but when's the last time you seen Not Another Teen Movie? I know you're a Chris Evans guy.
It's a funny one.
It's fucking funny. As long as you know the references in the movie.
Wilder.
Van Wilder. Oh, that's Ryan Reynolds' start.
That's his start. Dude.
Throw me some James Vanderbeek in Varsity Blues.
Ooh,
how about that?
That's not a comedy.
That's not a comedy. I forgot we're talking about. Yeah,
dude, that's like high school. Like,
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking football now.
Titties and kisses.
Kitties and titties.
Tutties and titties.
Tutties and titties. There's not a lot of dude. James Voight's fucking or John Voight's a fucking beast in that movie. Yeah. Anyway, we're keeping it hype. We're keeping it.
Other than that, dude, comedies. Dude, there's so many.
Everywhere. Dude, like we shouted out, I still have to mention that Red one for this holiday season, dude. It was kind of stereotypical, but I laughed so fucking. The Red one.
Is that an action or is that a comedy?
It's an action comedy for sure. There's a lot of much funny.
Because even action comedy, the one with Rock and Ryan Reynolds where they're stealing the stuff with Gail Gadot.
Gail Gadot.
Yeah.
Gail Gadot.
We're saving the shows though.
Yeah, correct. This is just. Okay, but the Jumanji that Kevin Hart and The Rock
Robin Williams too, man.
Lord. The original Jumanji wasn't necessarily a comedy,
but the new ones are.
Oh, if you're talking just Robin Williams long.
Well, no, I think would say the new Jumanjis aren't necessarily comedies; they're more action comedies too.
That first one was just it was pretty much a comedy. It was damn near slapstick, dude. Like it was hilarious. Like
Kevin Hart is hilarious,
dude. Which is we're gonna get in comedians and stand up in the next fandom, so I won't fucking cue into that because I think he's a better stand-up comedian than a movie comedian.
But check us on the Instagram and the X.
Dude, yeah, Buzzsprout, Spotify for the audio, YouTube for the pretty faces. Hopefully we're going to hit some bets.
Check us out next week because we got some fucking shit list going down about
dude, we're going to post a shit list. Parameters, rules, guidelines, all of them.
That's our
going down.
That's
SOPs.
Pod next week is Shitless Pod.
Pod 83. Shitless Pod. Oh shit! I got beer to drink.
We got a lot of beer.
All right,
let's go, boys.
All right, let's go, boys. Championship Sunday.